Everyone, welcome to our CPTP student information. My name is Leah Martinez. I'm your project manager for the CPTP program here at Rio Hondo College. And I'm here to support all of you who are part of the CPTP program. I'm gonna transition to Aaliyah so she can also introduce herself.
My internet slowed down a bit. Hi everyone, good evening. My name is Aaliyah Majano. I'm the student success coach for the CPTP program. I'm happy to see some of you are returning, so super excited for that.
I'm going to go ahead and get started. Hello everyone, my name is Nicole. I'm the CPTP program associate, so I help support all three of the colleges that we work with. We're going to go ahead and start our introductions. So if you can go ahead and put your name in the chat, what teaching pathway or grade level you're interested in teaching or looking into, and the last song that you listen to. And as you drop that information into the chat, we're gonna play a quick video that just introduces CPTP to you all. And for those of you just joining us, you're gonna put your name, what teaching pathway or grade level of interest that you're curious about, and the last song that you listen to. So we do have a lot to cover today. So if you guys have any questions throughout the orientation, please go ahead and drop them in the chat. We might not get to answer them all today, but we're definitely looking out for them. And when we send out this presentation after it's taken place, then we'll go ahead and include the answers to some of those questions. After this is all over, you're going to be receiving some resources and it's going to include this presentation. So please make sure to drop any questions that come up in the chat. We're going to move on to how to contact all of us. So did I skip over our objectives? I did. So the point of today is you guys are going to learn more about the CPTP community. We're going to go over some of our program special features. We're going to do a compass point activity, which is going to allow you to consider what kind of thinker you are. We're going to go a little bit over the resource aspect of CPTP. We are a grant funded project, so we're going to explain a little bit more about that. We'll ask you to complete a sign-in sheet, and then we're going to go over some of the program characteristics. Now we're going to go on to the next slide. So each of our three campuses have their own dedicated team to help support students. So your team at Rio Hondo is Aaliyah Madrano and Leah Martinez, both of whom introduced themselves earlier today. And we also have Brianna and your counselor, Emily. So you'll be able to find all of our contact information on this slide. And it does look like we need to update it a little bit more, but if any questions come up, your guys' first contact is going to be Aaliyah. She's your success coach, so she's there to support you. If any questions come up, you can go ahead and direct them to her. If you participate in CPTP, you do get a stipend at the end of the semester. So if you have any stipend questions or anything that's program related for Rio Hondo directly, you're going to go ahead and contact Leah as she is your program director. And then if anything comes up about the EAM logs or some of the TMN activities and events that CPTP puts on, you can go ahead and contact us directly. So you have a plethora of people to reach out to depending on what the issue is. So we're going to jump into our first activity, and our ask is that you guys share a story about someone in your life who was inspiring in a way that either helped you grow or helped you reach a goal. For students who are returning to CPTP, your person might have changed. It might have been your past mentor that you got to learn. So CPTP is open to all majors who are interested in exploring the teaching career. So we don't expect CPTP students to be ready to commit to transferring to a four-year university and they 100% know that teaching is the career path for them. This program is specifically designed to allow you guys to explore the teaching career so that you can decide for yourself if that's something that you can see as a lifelong career. So what we do is we provide one-on-one mentoring with someone who is currently teaching in a classroom, and it can be a K-12 teacher or a community college level teacher. You guys have your success coach who we introduced to you earlier, Aaliyah, at your college to support you with any issues that might arise during the school year. You get to participate in career development activities through our teacher mentoring network and some of the activities that Rio Hondo is going to put on for you specifically. And then, of course, CPTP participants get a stipend at the end of the semester for participating. The main components of CPTP are the EAM, which is the Enhanced Advisory Mentoring process that we have, and our Teacher Mentoring Network, which are different events that we pull professionals from different community partners that we have to help share their knowledge with you all, to not only help elevate your experience in CPTP, but your mentors as well. So we encourage you to not only show up for yourself, but also to pull your mentor in so that you guys can learn something new together. And then, of course, our main focus is on equity and social justice. So this is our end of year one video. CPTP is a 3-year program, so we're entering our 3rd full year, right, Yvonne? Am I getting that correctly?
Second full
year. We're getting ready to celebrate the end of the 2nd full year. So this is a highlight video that we're going to share with you guys from our 1st full year.
We need to really push education. We need to give other students what we never got ourselves. And I feel like if a lot of educators start doing that, whether it's males or females, we are going to push our tomorrow to a better place.
Some of the long-term benefits for our students who have gone through CPTP program, they have a whole cadre of educators to kind of walk the journey with them to become credentialed teachers. So these students do not have to do it alone. They do not have to go through that whole process alone. There are a lot of educators who believe in the mission of CPTP and want to be a part of the support system for these students.
Growing up, I had one male teacher in the 8th grade, and he had the biggest impact out of all my teachers. And he's one of the main reasons why I wanted to become a teacher. And I want to be that special inspiration or that role model.
Your mentor network will be a place, a space where they can stay connected to the community of educators that they meet during this time and other educators. Some of those people are teachers, some of those people might be administrators, some of those people might be retired teachers. So it gives them access to a whole community that thinks that them coming into the profession of teaching is really important.
For me, it was being able to work with a mentor teacher to really help you build your skills, to help you feel more get more comfortable into the actual teaching profession. I thought that was a very great thing I liked about the program.
It's not just about the student success, it's about the community's work. And that's what this grant and that's what this program is all about. It's about how do the teachers and the students who are here today become the leaders that make their communities healthier and more prosperous. And we're really excited about that.
Many school districts are all collaborating in this project to build a mentor-teacher network, as well as a group of students who we ultimately hope to place back into the classrooms in the communities in which they grew up in.
To us, it's really that community development frame. It's about getting to know you, having relationships, and making sure that we're helping you and that you're helping us make a difference.
Right. Well, that always makes me smile. So I just love watching it. So hi everybody. I think I just added a few more folks into the room. Welcome to those who just came. So my name is Yvonne Tran, and I am the program manager for the Center for Collaborative Education, working on the CPTP project. And today we're actually going to dig a little deeper into what EAM is. So EAM, or Enhanced Advisory Mentoring, is the model we use for CPTP. I'm going to look at each of the words in EAM so that we can kind of share with you about our model and framework for this type of mentorship. It's going to be a little bit different than maybe other mentorship programs you've been in before, if you have been in one. So the E of the enhanced part means that we are actively trying to reduce barriers for students interested in exploring teaching. So what this means is that we integrate an emphasis on equity and social justice. We provide wraparound services with your mentor, success coach, administrators, program managers like Leah and Emily for academic and career development. We engage students in activities such as that really helps to build communities, such as the CPTP Teacher Mentoring Network, and wanting to try to provide a greater safety net and support system for all students. In the advisory part of EAM is that, through this mentorship, you will be receiving career development opportunities that include personalized contact. It will help you to inspire you to explore teaching, answer any questions you have, to talk about planning for a career in teaching, to walk the path with you through relationship-focused professional fellowship. We also offer career opportunities so you can connect with different districts and schools. We also ensure support, connection, and access that is based on your goals and needs. So what that means is that we want to make sure whatever we provide you is flexible and responsive, is proactive, and allows for frequent connection, because you're walking this journey and we want to ensure that you can explore all the things that you want to, as well as reach towards whatever goals that you have. And then finally, the mentoring piece, which is mainly about connection and inspiring. So this multi-level approach that we have will connect you in different ways to different people. We are definitely a relationship-focused program that is responsive, personalized, flexible, and proactive. And this is kind of the model in which really is a great graphic representation of what EAM is. So it's this multi-tiered, multi-level, different pieces that really form the system of engagement that helps to build a community-based teacher pipeline that strengthens the teaching profession by increasing the number of teachers of color. And so in today's session, we're really going to look deeper at this triangle right here and the different components that make up this triangle. And so I'm going to hand it to Nicole so she can kind of talk a little bit more about these pieces.
Thank you. So I mentioned earlier that we're going to be sending out some resources to you all after this orientation. And this is one of the first ones. So this is our EAM roadmap that helps to break down what your time in CPTP is going to look like throughout the semester. So this was designed to be used as a flexible guide for our CPTP students as you work one-on-one with your mentor. So this is full of clickable resources that you guys can use, different suggestions for activities that you and your mentor can complete together, along with a couple of action items and timelines that we hope will provide an opportunity for a well-rounded experience while you're participating in CPTP. In order to complete the program, you do have to complete 30 hours of EAM per semester. And I know that sounds like a lot, but between TMN events and one-on-one time with your mentor, along with hopefully some classroom visitations, it really does go by very quickly. So I recommend that you bookmark this once you guys have it so that you can access it throughout the semester. It is a living document, so we do update some of the content throughout the semester. So just make sure to keep your eyes on it. The next part of some of that one-on-one interactions with your mentors are classroom visitations. This past spring semester, a lot of our students were able to partake in this. I know we're still in a pandemic, so it is it's up to the school and the district that your mentor is currently working in, whether or not you'll be able to partake in classroom visitations, but these are some pictures from our CPTP students from this past semester. So once you guys are matched with a mentor, if that's something that you're interested in, which I hope it is, just be sure to mention it so that you and your mentors can take the right precautions to get you some classroom experience. So we're going to practice an initial connection, and you don't have to put anything in the chat just now, but when you do get this presentation emailed to you, this is a quick activity that you can do to reach out to your mentor. Once you guys are matched, you're going to get an email with your information and your mentor's information. But if your mentor is a current teacher, which of course they're going to be very busy with who knows how many students. So we encourage you guys to make that first initial connection. So this is just a quick activity to help you compose that first email or that first text message to reach out to your mentor and make that initial introduction. So just something that we want you to think about and reference once you get this emailed out to you.
Yeah, and I think just something, it doesn't need to be long, but really just initiate that first contact, whether it's a Zoom meeting, in person, whatever it is. You just want to make sure that like as soon as you get it, this happens. I'm going to drop into a sample email or text you can send. And I also know that Aaliyah also has a bunch of great conversation sentence starters too. So if you do need any of that, she's a great reference.
Speaking of Aaliyah, we're going to give you a little brief introduction into the success coach role. So each of our 3 schools have a designated success coach specifically meant to help CPTP students throughout the semester. They have experience at the community college levels. Most of them have been with CPTP from the beginning, so they're going to be a great resource for you throughout the semester. If any questions come up about scheduling time with your mentor, if you feel like you need help connecting with your mentor because they're not responding to your emails, or you can only hear from them every few days, you can reach out to Aaliyah and she can give you some resources on not only how to make that initial connection, but to also just make sure that you both are being successful. She actually just dropped a great idea into the chat. Once you make that initial connection, let your mentor know what your schedule is. You're all college students. Your mentors are teachers. You both have really busy schedules for different reasons. We know that there's work and families that also take time in your day. So just email them your availability. That's a great idea, Aaliyah. So reach out to her. She'll drop, Aaliyah, if you can drop your email in the chat again for those who are just joining us, that would be great. We're going to move on to the Teacher Mentoring Network, which is the next part of CPTP. So the TMN network is not only a network of our teacher mentors, but it's also different events that we put on with our community partners throughout the school semester so that you guys can get some of those EAM hours that we mentioned. So this is going to be where we start talking about that last bottom section of the triangle, which is really the foundation of CPTP. So we bring in teaching professionals from all stages of their career, brand new teachers, CPTP students and staff who have graduated and they're going to be in their classroom for the first year, mentoring teachers from different colleges, all wanting to connect and support this next generation of teachers that you guys are the foundations for, should you decide that teaching is going to be your lifelong career. So the main idea is to provide this network of engagement and resources and support so that you guys feel like you have someone to reach out to at any stage of your teaching career, whether it's at the very beginning, halfway in the middle, or towards the end. So we're going to go ahead and play our TMN commercial. It's going to introduce some of our community partners to you. You're going to see some familiar faces, but just to give you an idea of what the TMN network consists of.
Teacher Mentor Network. It's a place, it's a space, it's a time to be together, to build kinship and belonging, and also just capacity around like our understanding of the issues of equity in education, and while doing that learning to also to build community with each other.
Discussion hours in the area of special education as part of the Teacher Mentoring Network is an opportunity for CPTP participants and any other teachers, college students, community members who want to can come together to learn more about what student support and special education is and what it looks like in classrooms. The discussion hours focus on gaining a general understanding of special ed and student support services.
The combination of the tools that are needed for you to be successful and have your schooling as fair as someone else that may not need those things.
Our main reason to partner with NASA JPL is to inspire STEM teaching and learning. We have an exciting JPL series as part of the Teacher Mentoring Network program. Dr. Brandon Rodriguez is the host, who is a scientist educator that provides professional development and trainings to help teachers maximize their students' engagement in learning science.
But it's actually more authentic this way. I am the rover, right? And the camera, this is the arm. This is all you get. This is all you get when you live on Earth and you're looking at Mars. So it's kind of funny. You're limited in a very realistic way.
We love working with Brandon. He gives us updates on NASA's exciting work, like the current work with the Mars rover. He shares real-time data relating to climate change. Brandon does a great job making science relevant to everyday life.
The equity hours are important because it's a place for us to learn about the issues of equity and inequity in education, and also to build critical consciousness.
My expectations around the kinds of things that they would talk about was very off, because a lot of the students were, not really, they didn't have the time to focus on homework and schoolwork as much as they were dealing with all these external factors. So I just felt like it was a real eye-opener for me, and I needed to really realize I have to practice putting myself in a completely different perspective in order to be helpful.
I love the opportunity to open with grounding and acknowledging difference, acknowledging it, talking about it, just grounding ourselves and rooting ourselves in anti-racism, and in being able to accept all of the wide range of differences in who we are, as being just that's the foundation.
My favorite part of the TMN events has to be the exploration and the networking opportunities that students get. Students are getting access to so many different kinds of conversations and topics that you don't really get a chance to explore in your day-to-day classroom. And it's a chance for students across 3 campuses to come together to network within themselves, but also just a chance to have fun outside of school while still learning about something that you could potentially be passionate about. Our team can only do so much. It's the participants and the mentors who truly make this project a success. So don't know if you guys have ever like recorded yourselves, but you know when you hear your voice in a recording and you're like, wow, do I actually sound like that? Every time I watch that video, that's what happens. So with the TMN network, we already have our fall calendar ready for you guys. It's packed with events that are going to be coming up. And I know you guys saw Brandon, who is our NASA community partner. He is actually on the northern coast of Hawaii right now, helping to map the ocean floor. So we're hoping he's going to share more about that with us on the 30th. So you can already go into this calendar and sign up for some of the events that are interesting to you. Our special education and student initiatives director, Suzanne, is going to have her equity hours. We're going to have special education office hours and SPED discussion hours with Ruth. So there are tons of opportunities for you guys to not only gain EAM hours, but also just to come soak up some more knowledge. So we're really excited about the events that we have coming. And this isn't all. There's going to be some more pop-up events. The colleges are going to have events for you guys. So there are a plethora of opportunities for you guys coming up this fall. So we're very excited about that.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to Yvonne, take over.
Yeah, thanks, Nicole. Yes, as Nicole said, like there's a lot of events and some might pop up throughout the year. And so we'll notify all the students and mentors, as well as it's a living document, this calendar. And so you'll be seeing more, as well as more from, you'll be seeing a lot more from us. So as Nicole mentioned, we also offer job opportunities. So we work with community-based local organizations, as well as different school districts, to be able to provide jobs with community college students. We understand that, you know, we need to work. You all need to work, and you know, want to make sure that we also have a chance to provide that flexibility and you know, while you go to school, as well as just making sure that this job is a great way to kind of experience teaching if you've never been in a classroom before, or perhaps just really be kind of an accompaniment to your exploration right now. And so right now we are working with the Inglewood Unified School District, Woodcraft Rangers, and Toro Tutors to be able to provide positions for CPTP students. And so, you know, once you get this this deck, you can click through some of the available job openings here. We usually vet these jobs, so to make sure that it's aligned with CPTP equity framework, our equity framework. And we typically also send out information about applications as they come in, as well as hosting info sessions with employers. And so you can talk to them directly before you apply, or maybe you applied and you just want to meet them so they get to know your name. We also do that too. Most of the jobs that come through CPTP, they usually start at about $20 an hour and possibly more. So some of these are like $25 an hour, very flexible schedules, and it's just a great way to experience teaching and working with students. So that's part of our TMN network. Another thing we do within TMN is just providing connections to different universities that you're possibly thinking of transferring to. We also do a university fair also, where all these different colleges and universities come, and you can talk to them, learn more about the transfer process. I know at each of the colleges there are already resources, but this is just an extra layer, an extra space for you to be able to connect with them. You'll also learn more about education-specific pathways, as well as education-specific transfer information directly from these partner colleges that we work with. And so, you know, we work with all the local Cal States here, as well as the local UCs, and then a few private schools too, because we know that some of the ECE folks might end up going there. So I don't know, right now I would love to kind of see in the chat, do any of these universities interest you? If they do, please put into the chat like what university you're interested in attending. If it's one of these, it could be a university that is not listed here. We'd love to actually know, and then we can possibly try to talk to them and see if we can form a partnership. But yeah, in the chat right now, I'd love to see your engagement and which universities you're interested in transferring to. I see UC Irvine. Any other ones? Cal State Long Beach, awesome. Cal State LA or UCLA, great, all local. Cal Poly Pomona. Cal State LA, awesome. That's great. Cal State Long Beach. Awesome. Okay, keep putting them in. You can put more than one if you wanted to. And so after looking at EAM and all the 3 layers, as well as all the different components of EAM, what are your thoughts on it? What do you think best represents EAM? Is it this music note? Is it this flower? Is it these glasses? Which icon best captures your thoughts about EAM and why? We provided a sample calendar in which that really represents what you might possibly do to be able to try to fit it into your schedule. So you can see most of the events that are EAM TMN related are bolded, and they are typically occurring Monday through Friday, though there is some chances on Saturday to possibly catch up on a lot of the work. Sunday, we have a day off, but the other times, it could be really just a quick check-in with your mentor on Tuesday, maybe perhaps schedule a classroom visit in the morning on Tuesdays, maybe replying to a text or an email that your success coach sent out, and attending a TMN Equity Hour event. So this is just kind of some ideas of how you might fit it in. We definitely encourage you trying to do like a few hours a week, 1 to 2 hours a week, to be able to really get through the EAM without waiting till the very last minute and completing it all. Because we know it's a pretty tough time during the end of the semester with finals, with everything going on. And so it's definitely much better to try to do a few things throughout the week so that you can slowly get through those 30 hours. We also definitely encourage you to bring ideas and activities and conversations to discuss with your mentor about, like, these are things I want to do. And then your mentor can also provide you some ideas, whether it's a classroom visit, or maybe you can attend a staff meeting with me, things like that. Whatever you're interested in, they'll be able to kind of also provide you some advice around that. So we'll constantly be sending you activities. A lot of our events and activities too are recorded. And so that's another benefit, is that you'll be able to access a lot of them asynchronously. And so let's say, on the weekend, you have a few hours you might be able to dedicate towards EAM. It's okay if you miss the event on Wednesday, you can rewatch it and then discuss that with your mentor, and that counts as EAM. And so take advantage of all the different resources and opportunities that are available for you, so that asynchronously to be able to complete those hours. All right, so that was the EAM piece. So now I want to address the research piece of this project. And so, as many of you know from the info sessions, as well as some of the returning folks, this project is a research project. And so because of that, we, as well as the Department of Education, want to learn more about what the impact, if any, that CPTP has on students. And so we work with an external evaluator, Al from West Ed, who will be looking at the program and conducting focus groups and surveys to be able to understand that research question of what impact, if any, the CPTP has. And so if you all can just watch this short video of Al, he's going to share a little bit more about the project and how you might be involved in it.
I go by Al, and I'm here to talk a little bit about the research and evaluation work that West Ed will do for CPTP. So we basically have 2 questions. The first is the effect of CPTP supports for students. So we'll be looking at areas like GPA, course completion, transfer rates, all sorts of areas that the program seeks to help you improve and help improve for community college students in general. And then we have an overall evaluation question, which relates to how the program can implement, sustain, and disseminate its model effectively. So when we answer a research question, what we're trying to do is make a determination about how effective the program is and whether or not the program can then be replicated for other students to help them through their community college career as well. So there are some key activities. The first, because this is a research project, there is what's called informed consent. So when we reach out to you for data collection activities, we'll actually be asking you for your consent to participate in the research. And we'll be very clear about what you can choose to answer, what you can choose not to answer, those sorts of things. Although we'll pretty much be asking you about what you think of the program and what your participation is like in the program. So we're definitely not asking any sort of sensitive information. And we're going to answer these questions by collecting data through surveys that'll go directly to you. Through interviews, we'll be selecting some of you to talk to us more about the program. And then we'll also be looking at the outcomes that the students in the program have. And we're actually going to be comparing that to outcomes of students that aren't in the program. We'll be looking at all that data in groups. So we're not really going to be identifying you and your specific outcome. We're going to look at everyone in the program in general to see how it works for them. And then, so that'll be part of our data analysis. We'll be looking at all these results and making an assessment of the impact of the program. And then as for reporting, we will prepare reports. We're required to prepare reports by the grant funder, which is the U.S. Department of Education. Again, no one's identified in these reports individually. It's all about groups. And we'll be reporting on the outcomes over at least 2 years. So we'll be looking at your participation over 2 semesters and then your participation over 4 semesters and writing about the results at those 2 points in time. And those reports will actually be shared with what's called the What Works Clearinghouse so that other community colleges and other people interested in implementing a program like this can learn from what we do about how to do this work well. So that's my presentation.
So West Ed, as well as CCE, will periodically reach out to mentors and students to partake and participate in the different studies that we have. And then just as a reminder that participants, you all do get paid to be able to participate in our evaluation. So that means every student who takes that survey through West Ed, you all will get payment, as well as those who join the focus groups, because we understand that we want to try to get as much data as we can to really paint the story and the picture of CPTP. And so we really hope that you can participate the next time those next round of surveys and focus groups come out. And it's just really important for us, not only for us to understand how to improve the program, but what impact, if this does have any, on students, so that we can hopefully grow the program in other colleges. And so whatever data you share will also help us in the future.
So kind of to break everything down, CPTP participants complete 30 hours of EAM that enhanced advisory mentoring by not only connecting with your mentor, talking to your campus support teams, doing the different TMN activities and teacher prep activities, along with hopefully having some classroom visitations to really give you a full circle picture of what it truly entails to be in the teaching profession. You have to attend the online CPTP orientation and your college specific orientation. Luckily for you, that first one, you're doing it right now. And then we're going to go ahead and drop in some information about the college specific orientations that'll be coming up. And then throughout the semester, we just ask that you communicate with the CPTP team, the college specific teams, if anything comes up. And then in a second, we're going to go over the online EAM log that you guys are all going to complete so that you're documenting those hours. But first, we're going to go over some of the agreements. So in order to participate in CPTP, this is basically what you guys are agreeing to. You consent and understand that you are participating in a research study that's not necessarily looking at you, but more so the effectiveness of our project as a whole. By completing those 30 hours successfully at the end of each semester, you will receive a stipend for participating. You're gonna attend your college-specific orientations to share some important information about those stipends and how those work, so stay tuned for that. And then, of course, you are encouraged to participate for both not only fall 2022, but also that spring semester, so you can truly get a full year in the program. Not only so that you can participate in our awesome events, but also so that you can expand the amount of time that you have with your mentor and truly build a long-lasting relationship with them. So again, a lot of talking, so we're going to give you guys a break. We're gonna do one more connection activity, so prepare yourself. You're gonna go into a breakout room in a second, but it's not bad, I promise. We're gonna drop a link to this compass point activity, and this is really just an activity to understand how you think and how you work and how it might differ from some of your fellow participants. So you're gonna get the link to this document in just a second, and it's gonna have 4 points of the compass. So I want you guys to just read over it, take a look and see which one aligns with you the most. I know for me, I consider myself more of like a Southwest thinker, but if you can, try and just pick one, which one aligns with you the most. If you are returning to CPTP, I'm curious to see if where you align is the same as when you first started the program.
So right now we are actually going to do our sign-in sheet. So the sign-in sheet is going to be used to verify your attendance today, as well as acknowledge the responsibilities and agreements that you all just heard about from Nicole. You're actually going to do also a short career aspiration survey, and then share compass points that you just talked about in your breakouts. And so that's going to be something you'll share in this survey, as well as you'll respond to photo, video, consent forms, as well as a research contact consent form. And so, yes, Nicole actually just dropped the sign-in sheet into the chat. So feel free to click on that and open it up. And I'll also do the same, and then take this time to fill it out right now.
Something to remember throughout the program, especially when you're submitting your EAM logs, which you'll see in a second, try to stick to one email. So I know, like me, I have a different email for every subscription that I have, but you want to be consistent. That way the system recognizes every time you're submitting something.
Yes, good point, Nicole. Yeah, and then double check the spellings too, because sometimes just one letter off can throw off the system, and then your hours might not be calculated correctly.
All right, so you've gone to a TMN event, you've done your orientation. How do you total up all of those hours? You're going to submit an EAM log. So I am going to drop this link in the chat, and you're welcome to follow along, but in a second, we're going to go ahead and do a test one with everyone. So the EAM logs are almost like an attendance report. So you're going to go in, you're going to fill out your first and last name. You're going to use that same email that you used on your application. And then you're going to select who your mentor is. Of course, you'll get that information once you've been matched. For this example, we're going to go ahead and type in test mentor. And you're going to put in the date of what the activity that you did was completed on. So we're going to go ahead and put today's date, which is the 8th of August. And we're going to do for 1 hour. Something I want you guys to note is you can do these logs for as little as 15 minutes. So once everything is truly live, you can either choose to do 1 log per activity, or if you do multiple activities in a single day, you can combine that time and then select multiples. But for the sake of this example, we're going to go ahead and select the CPTP student orientation, which we're completing right now, and we're going to go ahead and submit it. Once you submit it, you're going to get to this checkpoint that's basically asking, oh, I see what I have to do. You're going to have a checkpoint before you get to this thank you for submitting. It's going to ask you to just review and double check your work. When you see that page, I want you guys to make sure that your email is spelled correctly, that you selected the correct mentor, and that your activities are all there, just to help try and prevent any duplicates. But for my test environment, you see it went straight to your confirmation page, which is going to ask that your EAM log has been sent to your mentor, and then it's going to give you the option to click the link and submit a bunch. Something that I recommend is making sure that you guys are submitting your EAM logs in a systematic way, whether you choose to do it at the end of each week or at the end of each activity that you do. That way, you're not submitting 30 hours of logs at the end of the semester and trying to recall which ones you've already submitted. So once you press that submit button, the form actually is going to get automatically sent to your mentor. And the system is basically going to ask your mentor to approve those logs. So in order for your mentor to approve them, you guys have to wrap around with your mentor, which means you have to have a conversation with them about the activity. So using the orientation as an example, when you guys make that initial connection with your mentor, it's a great chance to review the orientation decks together or pull something from the orientation that you want to talk about with them. That way they can recognize what activity you guys have already discussed when they get this email. Everything goes perfectly. You guys talk to your mentor, you have a great conversation. Your mentor is going to get this email, which you see on the bottom here. And it's the exact same form that you submitted, but it has this additional question basically asking them to approve the log. Once they click yes, it's approved. It gets sent to our system, and then you guys will be able to keep track either through printing the log so that you have one for your records, or we're going to get into the Canvas system here in a little bit and you'll be able to track it there as well. Of course, if you have any questions when it comes to EAM logs, this is something that you will email CPTP directly about since we're the ones who track it. So feel free to reach out to us at any point of the semester if something comes up. And then to help you keep up with what you've already submitted, every 2 weeks, you're going to get an automatic hours approved summary that's not going to break down what you submitted in terms of the hours, but it'll just tell you how many hours that you've submitted and how many hours have been approved. So you're not going to get a list through this specific email about what you've submitted, but we'll show you in just a second where you can find that information.
Just do a quick reminder that all of you here have already completed 1.5 hours of the orientation, and that will be an option in the EAM log. It's just, it needs to be updated with all the different mentors who are coming on board and all that stuff. So again, these logs won't be live until you are matched with your mentor. And at that point, you can submit as many logs as you need to. And one of the first things you'll be able to submit once you've touched base with your mentor is that is this orientation. So like as a recap of everything, so you're going to go do your activity. Okay, great. You'll submit your log. You can submit multiple ones, especially if you did a bunch in a week. You're going to meet with, actually you have to meet with your mentor first before you submit those logs. So make sure whatever you check in with them about, like perhaps you do all the activities and then maybe Friday you all do the check-ins, then you can talk to them about the different activities. And so you can count the time that you completed the activity. So like the 1 hour TMN and the 1 hour classroom visits, as well as the time that you met with your mentor, which could be another hour. So you completed 3 hours within that week. And so you could submit a log for each one once you've circled back and talked to your mentor about all of 3 activities. Your mentor will then get your submission that you submitted and then approve those hours. And then every 2 weeks, you can look at this, you'll get a report in your email to remind you of all the hours you've submitted so far, as well as you can always log into your Canvas system, which is something new this year for returning folks. You'll be able to view all of your hours there as well. And then, yeah, your mentor will continually provide you opportunities to complete 30 hours, and you'll just keep on submitting hours until you hit the 30. And then at that point, your mentor and you will be able to receive the stipend at the end of the semester. And then, yeah, I think once you all start going and doing it, it'll be much easier to kind of comprehend, because right now it's a lot of information, but once you do it, hopefully you'll see that it's actually a lot less paperwork that you have to fill out. It's a very simple form, and it's supposed to really be able for you to track and reflect on all the different activities you participated throughout the year. So some of the tips for the EAM logs are that, again, use the same email address every single time. Otherwise, the hours might not calculate correctly. Don't wait till the last minute to submit your EAM log. If you have any issues or if you have any questions about how to submit it, you can always reach out to one of us, to your Rio Hondo team. Just really get into the habit of submitting immediately after an event or workshop, because all of us have very busy lives. We have a lot of things to do. It's much easier to be like, okay, I'm just going to submit it right after I finish it. So that way I don't even have to think about it, because it'll go straight into the logging system. Any delays in submission could mean some delays in your stipends, and especially near the end of the year, if you submit it all at the end of the semester, it could be a very busy time for the colleges too. And so if you can get to the 30 hours earlier, it just makes processing much faster and than if you waited until the very end. And then in terms of work hours, I know we get this question a lot about folks who maybe already are working in a school, or perhaps doing some field hours in different schools or early childhood centers. So do those count as EAM hours? So those actual working hours, like the 20 hours that you do every week, those don't count as EAM. However, if you had a conversation with your mentor about things that happened at work or things that happened in your field hours, those hours count, if that makes sense. So, just make sure you circle back with your mentor. And at that point, yes, those hours definitely count of you talking with them. But specifically for the job hours, the 40 hours, those can't go towards EAM, because this is really about exploration, not about like working hours. You can always email the CPTP EAM email if you have any questions, and just remember to log this orientation session once you are matched. And then another new thing, and another place that you can go for resources, and if for us to be able to communicate with you all, is the Canvas learning management system that we're going to use this year. So the learning management system is going to house all CPTP related resources for students and mentors. So that could mean the EAM logs, the reports that you'll get about your log, the TMN resources, so all the videos, all the decks from orientation, our teacher mentoring network, from the universities, from the jobs. Like, we'll have that all in this little hub. And note, this is a separate Canvas system from the community college Canvas. So most of you actually are familiar with Rio Hondo's Canvas. So that's a completely different Canvas. This is one specifically for CPTP. And I even had some students already say like, oh, is this a class? No, it's not a class. This is a different program, and you don't get graded or anything. It's specifically used for sharing resources, as well as being able to view your logs and hopefully collaborate also amongst the different community members in the Canvas system. So you'll receive more instructions on how to use the Canvas in your match letter. And once you're matched, you'll receive an email from Canvas itself prompting you to log in using your email and to reset your password. So yeah, as you can see, this is completely different than from your Canvas at Rio Hondo. And so I'm just going to show you really briefly how it looks like once you click on that, that dashboard. So you'll see the login, it's CPTP. And then once you go in, you'll be already enrolled in some courses, which include, just the Rio Hondo teams and then the CPTP course, as we call it. Let's see if it opened up. Yeah, you'll get more information. I don't want to spend too much time on this Canvas piece, but before in the past, we used to have links everywhere, but now it's all going to be housed here. And so in the end, EAM, now we can touch upon the circle that was in that graphic that we had. So we have the triangle as well as now the circle. And so as you can see, EAM is a cycle. And it's a multi-layered level of engagement for community college students to explore teachings from the job opportunities, the mentors that you all have access to, the success coach, the EAM logs to be able to track your journey through exploration, TMN, teacher mentoring network, events, workshops, and the connections you make there, the stipend, as well as the campus resources, all really are trying to elevate and enhance the objective of strengthening the teaching profession by increasing the number of teachers of color. And so you must be wondering what is next. And so matching will be happening soon. So we're finishing up orientation this week. And after orientation, we regroup with the Rio Hondo team, and we basically sit together and really map out who you're going to be matched with in terms of your mentors. So it takes a long process. It's a long process because we definitely want to make sure we address folks' requests and needs as much as possible. So the matching process will take into consideration your preferences for teaching pathways, availability. We'll try to look at the mentor school location. So we'll try to make it as close as possible to where you are currently living, your work style, and really, like, what are your preferences in your different work styles. Looking at how many mentors we have and all the different mentors we do have been able to recruit, not all preferences will be granted, but we will try our best. So you'll receive a match letter in the next few weeks, letting you know who your mentor is once that mentor list is finalized. And you'll be able to start connecting with them and begin working with each other and starting to submit those EAM logs. For those who are returning, you most likely will be rematched with your same mentor unless we are notified of any circumstances that have changed. Like, for example, some of your mentors might have switched positions, so they don't have a classroom anymore. Some might be on maternity leave. And so you'll know if you have a new mentor in those match letters. If you haven't heard anything, or you might have talked to them already, if there's no other circumstances, then you will be rematched with the same mentor. You don't have to submit any new applications as well. So you also will be expected to attend the college-specific orientation. So that's where Leah and Aaliyah and the whole team, they'll be able to share more about the college-specific resources and any paperwork for stipends that you need to fill out. And then you'll also need to reach out to connect with your mentor by a certain date. And so that will be specified in your match letter. So I know we just talked a lot, but we're super excited to be able to get started with you all. We do want to share with you our social media. So we are on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, as well as you can always visit our website. But if you can, follow us now. We'll be posting a lot of updates. We post a lot of our students and teachers going into classrooms, their experiences in CPTP. Aaliyah just dropped into the chat the Rio Hondo Instagram to follow them. And so it's a really great place to connect with the program as well as some of the participants in it. And then lastly, we want to make sure we get your feedback on how this orientation went. We'd love to learn more to be able to improve for any future students, any future orientations. And so we have right here a QR code that you can scan on your phone, or you can, we'll drop the link into the chat as well so that you can access and fill out. But if you can take the last few minutes to just give us some feedback about how this orientation went, that would be great.